Thanks.
So, can you tell me like how you got into like the music you do? Like, what are your inspirations?
It came from a variety of things, but I would say like early on in life I was influenced by a lot of rock, of course, but later, my brother actually hooked me up with discovering the genre of folk punk about maybe 10 or more years ago. And you mentioned I sounded like AJJ earlier, and I was like, oh, dude, that was like one of my first bands I remember listening to. You got me on. But,
that was one of the first ones I found too.
Yeah, and it was like, I found out a bit more from like the folk punk aspect where it was like more about the sound and style versus the ethos that came from it. Like maybe you listen to Pat the Bunny, you understand a lot of that like anarcho-communism stuff, but where he brings that out, where AJJ could just be singing about literally anything like rabbits getting killed or whatever, things like that nature. So it's not like I learned from like one side or the other, or just got interested in. I kind of just like started from like the more bubblegum and worked my way into like where I, started to realize the ways of the world through that type of punk. As if it weren't already apparent through other bands. But yeah, I think like that really played like the building blocks, and then later, those bands went electric, so it was like, I want to find like an exit strategy where I can eventually do that. And I thought for a while, folk punk, I'll start off doing this like against beats, but it never quite worked out. So to answer a question real badly, I guess that's kind of how it started. But it never was in mind like I was going to like do anything electric. I thought I would have a full band eventually, but just being rural Martin County, it doesn't really line up that well. So I just like got dialed into a bunch of early folk artists and kind of started from there, and got hooked up with the Greenville scene here. Shout out to Spaz and Jeff, because they got me through a lot of bands here like Troll 2, Apes to State, Chesky, bunch of other good bands I could just throw out right now. But they came through here, and got a pleasure meeting them, befriending some of them. So it's cool to see that come full circle in what seems like a short matter of time, even though it's been 10 years, just like from entering the genre as a fan to being a participant.
It kind of leads into my next question. So you've been around Greenville for a while, involved in the local scene. How have you seen it change in that time? Because I know it's had a few resurgences and
it goes in waves.
Like that.
Being coastal, everything kind of comes in waves here, but especially music and culture from what I've seen, and it's a shame because, we've had some great venues throughout the years get shut down just because one person decided to act a fool and it caused the fire department to come out there and get the place shut down for some violations. But, starting, I was 17, my first band out here, and we played off of Dickinson Avenue at the Spazatorium Galleria when it was brand spanking new at that time. I was young, fresh-faced, played. Didn't stay in the scene that long, but I got, after that I was like, I may not be a part of this band, but the community is where I like this place. They got good bands coming here every weekend, and it kind of rushed off of me in that way, Then like being in Martin County, you're not local to what's going on here, so you're really taking the time out of your day to come out here. And I was coming out about every other weekend, and it came down to every other day. They had stuff happening throughout the summers. Then it was, I think, the peak of it. I was here about every other day when it came down to the stuff at Trollingwood Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great place for a lot of the Spaz shows, and it was all just what's the word I'm looking for? Ball crawl district,
Mm-hmm. I think it's Uptown now.
Yeah, they finally went away with Uptown, but I've been around that long that they've gone through that change where they decided to call it Uptown and take it away, and still here, man. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's strong. It's stronger in a few aspects and not so much in the others. But of course, we have less people from all the accidents and drugs out there and what have you. But, we always get that flush of new people coming in from out of state via school. So, even if they're not staying long, it's still a fresh injection of new music, and they can bring in more artists from their hometowns and likewise. So, usually when one band starts to pick up traction, it trickles, It may not trickle much after a while, but it definitely does. At some point, I kind of hope to facilitate some more of that.
All right, cool. If you want to take us into your next song, I have
Nice.
some more questions after that.
Right on.
Cool.